evening. Welcome to the Pinstripe Express on the Pinstripe Chronicles channel. I am Uncle Tats. I'm here with Mazza from the 4 Train and a few from the Strike Zone. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Not bad, not bad. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's a great day. No chill, just relaxing. And, looking forward to the upcoming season. Looking back at some of the ups and downs from the offseason to this point. We know there's still a little ways to go. There's still some moves that can be made. And, we'll break it all down, give you our perspectives on everything that went out. We may agree, we may not, but that's the fun of it. But just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Appreciate you all hanging out with us. Ronald Duffney, first time seeing you on the Pinstripe Chronicles show. Welcome. Stephen B, FL Diva, ABX, Jonathan, as always, never fails to be a part of it. Stephen B is here with us. Anybody else that I'm Aiden? What's going on, dude? And NFE, how you doing, bro?
No complaints, man. Everything is good. Everything is good.
No, it's good to Maz is off the screen right now. As being a parent is what it is. But
sure.
it's great to have the official 2024 Pinstripe Express lineup in the chat today, hanging out with everybody. But what's going on, Joan? How's everything going? So, if you let's start from the now, and we'll work our way backwards. All right. So we'll start with the shit that's fresh in everybody's mind, and that is the trade that the Orioles made for Burns.
Okay.
We've all on our own respective channels. If you're not following any of us, please make sure you hit that sub button for the Strike Zone, 4 Train Express, and Pinstripe Chronicles, and drop your comments and let us know how you feel about things as we go through the process here. So let's start with Burns, all right? And NFE, we'll start with you. How are you? Where do you see things going from here with the Yankees, the remainder of the offseason, and how the division will play out throughout the season when it starts?
Man, it's going to be a competitive AL East, but I mean, now with Burns added to the mix with the Orioles, I think it's just going to be that much more competitive. The Orioles needed a starting pitcher, truthfully. So, and they got their starting pitcher. They have him for a year, but they got their starting pitcher. As far as the Yankees go, listen, I know some Yankees fans are nervous about the Orioles getting or trading for Corbin Burns, but me personally, I'm not nervous about it because I feel as though the Yankees made a lot of good moves this offseason. So as far as going into 2024, going into this season, I feel a lot more optimistic going into this season than I did last season. So I think the Yankees are still going to be able to hold their own. I mean, their offense especially. They made some great changes to their offense. We all saw what they added. And Tats, on that show on Friday morning, you pulled up that lineup of 2023 and 2024.
Yeah.
Big difference. There's a big difference.
A huge difference.
Right? The bottom of the order was out of jumble, but I think everybody got the point.
But it's
Right.
like night and day, pretty much. It's completely a different shade of gray. You've got one that's light and then one that's much more dark and much more thin, or not thinned out, but stretched out, where it looks a lot tougher to go through. So it's a complete change. But, as for the whole Corbin Burns thing, I mean, NFE, I know you and I had spoken about it a while back, and how we said don't count out the Orioles because that could be a team that could be in play for him. And I just want to put this out there. For whatever reason, this is not on Cashman at all. Because did any one of us see, or did any of you guys think that the Orioles were talking to the Brewers for Corbin Burns? Because I didn't. Nobody knew about this until it actually happened or until it was close to being done. So we can't really sit there and say that it is Cashman's fault, because if Cashman even had an inkling of the Orioles talking with Milwaukee, I don't think he would have just sat there. I think he would have picked up the phone and tried to make a deal.
Yep. And the thing is, too, I just wanted to add really quick and I've said this a few times, and you guys have heard me say this in the chat or on the live streams. When it comes to the Yankees and teams negotiating with them, they want the best of what we have, so they want us to give us our best players, whether they're major league ready or like some of our top prospects. And we know the Yankees are trying to build from within. So, some of those guys that you're hearing, like, Will Warren, Chase Hampton, Spencer Jones. I mean, these guys are part of the Yankees' future. So, that's another reason why the Yankees were holding off against, trading for guys like Burns and Cease. But Burns is going to be a free agent after this season. So, he's already said that he's going to test the free agent market. Yep. Maybe the Yankees go after him then, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think it goes to say, and if you were in the chat with the upper deck this morning, as I was, and if you missed it, really, I really think you should go back and watch how those girls navigated through the sports and baseball. They were great. Susie and Kelsey from Bourbon and Baseball and Babes. I mean, they had so much knowledge. But you're talking, and Susie was a Nationals fan. Kelsey's a Cardinals fan. They even got into it how, that Orioles move just really took baseball by storm. It really got everybody else going, why didn't we try that? So it's not just a Yankee thing. And I think that's what we need to put into perspective. Yes, we want the Yankees to, we can't sign every free agent. We can't make every trade. It's just not realistic. Yeah, it's, they have to work within their parameters. And I think that Cashman, I would say for 95% of the offseason, has really worked within the parameters set going into the offseason. I think they've stuck to their plan. They've had to adjust a couple of times, like Stroman wasn't on the radar, but Snell turned down their offer. They had to pivot, and they pivoted, and they made sure that they did add a starting pitcher. So I don't think there's been a lot of missteps. And I think if we would have tried to get Burns, there would have been that Yankee tax that we all talk about, that other teams may not recognize as a Yankee tax, but it is there. We all know, what it entails. It's going to cost us a lot more than it would cost other teams, because who the hell wants to help us?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, we're going to see. And it's not to say that we can't go and get Burns in the offseason, for 2025. That door didn't close. It's just,
it's closed temporarily.
Exactly.
And it's a good point, because we really have to look at this as, is it really a miss, or is it just a temporary hiccup? To me,
it's a hiccup.
It's a temporary hiccup. Because like I said, Cashman had no clue this was coming. Hal had no clue this was coming. None of us had any clue that this was coming. So if you go back to what the Yankees have done, and FL Diver, JC, and Stephen B have both said, look at the depth that he has built after trading those pitchers, the pitching that we had, to go get more pitching to recover from the trades that we made. And then to go out and to quickly pivot the way they did from Yamamoto, go out and get a starter. So this is not a miss. This is a hiccup. And the other thing I want to point out is the Brewers themselves said that they were not going to be trading Corbin Burns.
Yep.
So to me, there's something a little off about that. The fact that they said they weren't going to trade him, which is fine. You don't have to trade him. He's your guy. You do whatever you want with him. I don't personally care, but then you go like a week after you said that and said, okay, well, we're going to trade him to Baltimore. Fine. You want to trade him? Great. Do what you need to do. But when it's that close from a trade to when you said you weren't going to trade him, you kind of have to look at that and be like, what really was going on with the Brewers? Were they really trying to veer teams off of him so then they could get the best package? Or was there actually some behind closed doors stuff that was going on that they weren't talking about? And they just said it to say it so then they could complete the deal that they had in place.
Yeah, and I wanted to add real quick to that. I think, the Brewers are trying to, they're trying to build their team, right? So they're trying to get their infield going, and maybe they liked some of the prospects that the Orioles had that was going to be a good fit for their team. And my other thing with Corbin Burns is that, yeah, he could have helped the Brewers contend. I had the Brewers finishing at the top of the division, but now I think the NL Central is wide open.
Yeah.
But I do think that they wanted to trade Burns because they probably figured, you know what, for what this guy is going to ask for, we're probably not going to be able to afford him. We might as well trade him and get some value back. And he is a Scott Boras client. Let's keep that in mind too. So, I think, I don't know that the Brewers would have been able to sign him. So I'm just speculating, but maybe I'm thinking they wanted to trade him and get some value back, and they probably liked what the Orioles had to offer.
No, I think that they liked the Yankee prospects. It's just they weren't prospects that we wanted to part with. I really that's what stalled it all.
But here's
they weren't going to get Jones. They weren't going to get Hampton.
No.
The Brewers got fleeced in that deal. They got a compensation pick and 2 prospects? That doesn't seem right that doesn't seem like a package that you give for a guy of that caliber. That's like, and I'm going to use Pedro Martinez as an example.
Okay.
That's like if the Red Sox went and said to, I don't know, let's take the Mets the Phillies, for example, and say, we're trying to dump Pedro because we're trying to do a rebuild here. Okay? We're trying to trade him. We're not going to be able to afford him. He's going to be too much money. And the Phillies say, okay, cool. Well, we have A, B, C, and D. And they're like, oh, no, we only want A and B. And they get the minimal amount back. For a guy of that caliber, that almost seems a little suspicious that you only get a compensation pick and a compensation round, which is what they got, plus 2 prospects. If I were the Brewers, I would have been asking for a lot more than what they got from Baltimore. And I'm not saying that they don't have the right to trade.
Yeah.
To trade Corbin Burns, but because they did, that was their player. He belonged to them. They could do what they wanted with him. But to get that little back for a guy with that kind of with that caliber just doesn't seem right. It seems like there's something off about that. And like I said, I would have said I would have been asking for a lot more for Corbin Burns, especially knowing what the price for Dylan Cease is. I would have gone above that, especially for Corbin Burns.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was, and I think I'm going to pull this up. We're going to, just because I think it does apply to the discussion, right? And we're going to get to a lot of the comments in detail as we go along. I just want to pull up this one from Blue Gold real quick, because believe that Yankees talk about money being an issue. He shakes his head. I don't think it's that money's an issue. All right. Let's keep in mind, as we're talking about the hits and misses of the offseason, they made a significant offer to Yamamoto. They were willing to put the money up. They made an offer to Snell. They both turned him down. So it's not that the Yankees were willing to spend. The players just chose not to come here. And that's their right. from our perspective as a fan, it sucks because we want everybody. We Donald mentioned it, after the Yamamoto trade on the morning show. It's when was the last time that we went that hard for a player and didn't get him? It's like every detective. They always get their man. I don't think it's a matter of spending. I think they're finally getting smart about their spending and not just throwing money away.
I agree with that.
If they caved into Snell's needs because of the Holmes trade, right, and we'll pivot now to Snell and the cause and effect of his non-commitment to the contract we offered him. If he does it, say he was like, look, you add another year, another $20 million on it, I'm signing right now. And then we're stuck with him for 6 or 7 years, and we only get 2 years out of him. We're going to be screaming, why'd you spend that money?
Exactly.
We're seeing that now with Rodon. Why'd you spend that money? It was only 1 year. I think Rodon, I'm crossing my fingers that Rodon had his terrible year to start, and he's going to bounce back.
Can I just add something, Ted?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to give a shout out to Jason of 161 River Ave because he brought this up on a couple of occasions. But when we offered Yamamoto that $300 million contract, when we offered Snell that $30 million per year contract, we were under the luxury tax threshold because we hadn't signed Stroman yet. So we were still under that luxury tax threshold. So it was not going to cost us double from what it would have had we been over it, which means the player's not getting double the salary.
Oh.
It's just going to cost double because we would have to pay him plus another whatever it is, whatever we're paying him, plus that in luxury tax. So we were under that threshold when we made those offers. So they were willing to spend. It's not about not spending money. It's about where we were at the time, which at that time we were under that threshold. We weren't above it yet because we hadn't signed Stroman. So take Middleton, who just signed with St. Louis for $6 million. Let's say we sign him for $6 million. That's going to cost us $12 million because it's $6 in luxury tax and $6 to the player. So that's something to keep in mind.
Right. And, with the whole Yamamoto thing, again, Yankees were willing to spend money on him. Again, for a guy that's never pitched in the majors, they were ready to give him $30 million a year. But, he wanted to go to the Dodgers. They gave him a better offer than the Dodgers did. So ultimately, he made that choice of wanting to go to the Dodgers. And then with Blake Snell, I don't see any team that's going to give him $270 for 9. I mean, I don't know if you guys do, but I don't personally.
Did we? I don't know. That's definitely something to think about. I know Blue Gold. He's saying he's glad they didn't sign Moto. I don't know if I don't know if I can say we dodged a bullet. Because just because we didn't get him doesn't mean that we can just pivot and be like, well, we weren't interested. Because we were clamoring to get him.
We were.
And to finish off, what Blue Gold was trying to put his point across, it's not about trusting Cashman with the chessbook, just say it. No, believe me, we don't trust Cashman. I mean, Hal's been, I think, the guy pulling the strings this offseason.
That I agree with.
You agree with that?
Yeah. I think Hal is tired of having his name dragged through the mud. So I think he's over it. And I think he's the one who's been the driving. I mean, mind you, Cashman did say this was Hal's doing. And Hal deserves a lot of the credit for it. So let's give Cashman credit for that because he did say that. But the Soto deal was Hal Steinbrenner all the way. The Verdugo deal probably was also Hal. So
even when we had to get the contract with Judge done, Hal's the one that put the final pin in it.
Yep.
Yeah, but NFA, do you think it's more Hal over Cashman? And especially specifically with this particular offseason?
This offseason, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no way you can tell me Hal wasn't going to get involved this offseason. I said it before, a few months ago that Hal was going to be heavily involved this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
He did not want to get his name dragged in the dirt. He doesn't want his name being spoken badly. He doesn't want his team be the laughing stock of baseball. And you talked about it, Tats. You were at the last game of the season, and that stadium was empty. Right? What owner wants to see that? Please tell me.
Season tickets went down by 40%.
Exactly. And then season tickets went down by 40%. And you don't think an owner of a baseball team like the Yankees, you don't think the owner is going to be like, you think the owner is just going to sit back and say, oh, nah, it's all good? I don't think so. No way. Hal was heavily involved this offseason. Absolutely he was. He was the one that made the Juan Soto he approved of it. I think Cashman went to Hal and said, because he was kind of stuck on the Michael King thing, which I understand why. I get it.
No,
I get it. In Cashman's defense, I get it because it was Michael King was supposed to be our starter. But,
starting pitching is a premium right now.
Right.
Yeah, but also left-handed bats are also a premium. We have to think about that.
No, the left-handed.
At that point, we needed a left-handed bat desperately, and that's why we had to make that trade.
Right. So, Cashman probably went to Hal and said, hey, what do you think as far as the Soto trade goes? I'm sure Hal was just like, you know what? We got to do it. He probably just put his fist down and said, get it done. So
do whatever you have to.
Do what you got to do. We have to improve this team. The Yankees bats last season was terrible. That was the worst I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it was dreadful.
I've never seen that kind of a lifeless lineup before.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, we compared, some of the things with Burns and Snell. And we kind of glossed over Snell. I want to get to Terry's comment here. Terry, welcome to the Pitch Side Chronicle show. Hope everybody that is here is enjoying the discussion. If you are, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit the sub button and make sure you subscribe to the Strike Zone and the Fortune Express.
I'll post the link.
Do you think? Yeah, put the link in the chat for everybody so they can make sure they hit you up on the subscriptions. Do the Yankees continue to negotiate, or is that? Do you think that ship has sailed, or do you think that it's going to be Snell that comes crawling back? Like, which option do you think would be the most realistic?
I mean, at this point, there's no other team making an offer to Snell. At least we haven't heard anything. So does he fall in the Yankees' lap? I don't know. The Yankees were the only ones to make an offer. I say at this point now, if the Yankees were to get another starting pitcher, if they wanted to go out there and get one, it's probably going to come via trade, in my opinion. That's what I think. But I was kind of listening to Dane yesterday. I talked with him a little bit, and he's thinking at some point, Will Warren is going to get a spot in the rotation, not immediately, but he's gonna pitch at some capacity this year. He might come out of the bullpen, and let's just say if one of the if one of our starting pitchers, like if Cortez for some reason starts experiencing shoulder issues or something, maybe Will Warren will fulfill his role. I mean, who knows? I'm just throwing out different scenarios out there, Tats. So I'm not saying these things are going to happen.
Or if there's a situation where, say because the Padres already moved on from Holmes, and I want to, and this is going to tie into Snell. I think the two of them really they're kind of circling the universe together, right? As far as the Yankee point of view and my point of view, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I think that with Corbin Burns being traded, in our opinions or mine, specifically on the cheap, maybe Devin Williams becomes available because it's not going to be a competitive division. Say if they were going to, and they just traded a premium arm, maybe entice them with a Cortez or a Schmidt, along with a couple of prospects, and try to get that lockdown bullpen guy. Do you see that as a possibility? And if you're able to make that move, that frees up some of the money. That might free up some of the tension, and they make the deal on Snell.
That's interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's something to think about. I just don't know if I see that. As much as I would love to have Devin Williams, don't get me wrong. I would love to have Devin Williams. I don't know if I see that happening. Something that I could see happening is maybe the Yankees now calling up Miami, because now that the Orioles got Corbin Burnes, how do the Yankees answer back? Well, you can call up Miami. What do they need? Bats. They need good contact bats and young, controllable pieces. We have that. We have a plethora of that. What do we need? We need still that lockdown closer or a lockdown bullpen piece and another starter. They have that. Why not try to make a deal where you send Rortvet or Ramirez, Peraza, Herrera, and Oswaldo Cabrera to Miami for Tanner Scott and Edward Cabrera?
I mean, Cabrera is always an option.
And I only say that because you can get two for one.
Yeah.
And it gives you the best of both worlds, and it's the answer, and it's an answer to what Baltimore did by them acquiring Corbin Burnes. So it's just something to think about. Because trust me, like I said, I would love Devin Williams. Devin Williams would be a phenomenal pickup for us.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening unless we're dumping salary after that. So getting rid of Torres, getting rid of someone who's going to cost them, getting rid of a Loizaga or a Marinaccio, someone like that would have to. That's the only way I could see them doing it. Is if they shed payroll afterwards.
What do you think, anything?
I could see one of those pitchers from Miami coming over. I don't know about both. I mean, both would be great. I would love to have both, but I could only see one of them come over. But if you were to pick one, I'm leaning towards Cabrera just because I feel like another starter is necessary. I'm not too worried about the Yankees bullpen. It's the starting rotation that I'm still having question marks about. Now, if Rodon pitches well this season, or if he has a bounce back season, great. Right now the Yankees starting rotation, when you look at it on paper, they're supposed to be good. Hopefully, hopefully, with Cortez and Rodon staying healthy and having years like they did in 2022, hopefully we don't have to, worry about getting another starter. But, either one of those guys will work. Tanner Scott's great. I like Tanner Scott. But, based on what everybody's saying, though, I think Cabrera would be the better choice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. My cousin Nick put that in the chat. You can see us getting Tanner Scott. Look, I think any of the pitching from Miami would be a fit. But the trade has to work. I think Miami's going to make sure the trade works, for both parties involved. We already bailed them out with Giancarlo Stanton. So maybe now we say, all right, it's time to return the favor.
Now you take one of our big contracts.
Yeah.
Maybe you take Torres, whether you like it or not, you take Torres because we took Giancarlo off your hands.
Yeah, but do you want to take that hit to your offense? That's the gamble with it.
Yeah.
But you've got to find a way to make it so that it works for both parties and make it work well.
No. I don't disagree with what you're saying, Dave. But I've said it, and I think, and Jonathan's been saying it also lately. I think I'm rubbing off on the kid. but which is scary. But I think that the Torres train left for Miami with Kim N. She was the one that wanted Torres. The organization didn't. So I don't think Torres is an option for Miami. If it happens, look, I'm not going to cry over it as long as we get something significant back. If I'm moving Torres, I better be getting something damn good. I need something. I want a lockdown player, whether it's in the starting rotation or the bullpen. I'm not taking a scrap.
Why not maybe see what Cleveland wants for just Shane Bieber? Because we're probably not going to get Class A. We're not.
Oh, I would love Class A.
I mean, I would love Class A. Don't get me wrong. The man's a fucking stud, but I don't see us getting him. At this stage, I mean, anything. Why not see what you would have to give up for Shane Bieber? Maybe bring him in. He's a Matt Blake prodigy. Matt Blake has worked with him in the past.
Yeah.
So maybe you could do that.
And you probably wouldn't have to give up as much for Shane Bieber.
No, look what they just got for. Look what the trade value was for Burns. You think Bieber's going to be a bigger value?
No way.
Not a chance.
No way. Yeah, and he's a 1-year rental too. So
but then again, it's the Yankees. They'd be like, "Well, you give us Spencer Jones, we'll talk."
Well, you can.
Meanwhile, Baltimore will call for a trade, and they'll get a chicken bucket and a soda. Oh yeah, that's a great deal. It's to me. Trades with the Yankees is just bullshit. It's every team wants to, because like I said earlier in the show, no team is going to make a trade that really gives us the advantage and a win.
Yeah.
Unless they're dumping salary, they're not calling the Yankees.
San Diego is a prime example of that. They needed to dump salary, and they got rid of their biggest salary piece, and that was next to Tatis, and that was Soto.
Well, I mean, if there was one guy I would want to get, another miss as far as the trade market was Dylan Cease.
Yeah, but
I would still take a chance on him.
Not at the price that the White Sox want him at.
They need to come down on their asking price. Yeah,
they are delusional. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from the kid. He's got good stuff.
Yeah,
but he hasn't proven. He hasn't proven that he's worth that. He's had one good year. We're not talking a Corbin Burns. We're not talking, one of those guys. We're talking Dylan Cease. He's a second-tier pitcher. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's got good stuff. He's had great strikeout numbers, but not to his fault. But, one good year doesn't exactly, say, give me Spencer Jones.
Yeah, Cease at best is like a number 3 starter, number 4 starter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's a mid rotation guy. I don't know why. I'm not sure why the White Sox and why some folks are valuing Dylan Cease as like some sort of like elite
no.
pitcher.
He's a middle bottom rotation guy. Yeah. I'm not down.
I absolutely agree. It's just I was on X earlier today, or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Very confusing because everybody says it differently.
Yeah.
Elon Musk,
I say X
or whatever his name is, the person who
Musk
came up
machine.
with Twitter. The story behind that is the person who came up with Twitter. He's got an obsession with the letter X for some reason, which is why he changed it.
Huh. Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Side note.
But there are some of these trade proposals that some Yankees fans were putting out there for Dylan Cease, and I'm like, and I shared that with the group chat.
Yeah,
Mazza, you saw it, and Tats, I think you did too. And I'm like, what are these people out of their mind? And some of the people that voted, they were in favor of it. I'm like, no, what is wrong? Yes, the Yankees need another starter, but. Like
not at that price.
Not at that price.
No. They're delusional. Absolutely delusional. Now I get it. They got to sell high on their guys. I get it. You have.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, if you want to start talking Spencer Jones, you better be adding Luis Robert into that deal because there's no way you're getting Spencer Jones unless you're adding Luis Robert. I hate to tell you that.
Yeah,
Luis
and-
Robert is that special of a player. He's had multiple good years. But
Yeah,
they're
and I
never
know
going
we've
to give up
discussed it.
Luis Robert.
I was gonna say I know we discussed it before, but the only exception I'll make to trade Spencer Jones is if the Yankees can get Yuri Perez.
Yeah, and I've said that too.
Yeah, I when you all suggested that to me, I'm like, I would do that right now.
There was only one player I would have moved Jones for, and we already got him for less, and that was Soto.
Yeah,
Oh,
we did get him
fair
for
enough.
less.
So
We did get him for less.
Yeah, we did.
no, well, that's the other thing. It's and I've talked about it on my show, and you guys have talked about it. I mean, when you have a trade, so this is where the trade values get very, very muddy, because you look at what Baltimore got for Burns. The deal breaker for Soto was Michael King. And nobody had, and I use this term when the trade happened, and it's become one of my favorite terms, but nobody had Michael King as the deal breaker on their bingo card. Nobody. So you never know. You never know what players are going to have value to other teams.
Michael King's
They weren't persistent for Jones to rebuild their outfield. They were insistent on freaking Michael King, who only had 5 starts in his career.
Yeah, he's not even a first.
So it's well, that's where it becomes really hard to value trades, because you don't, it really, there is that shadow where you don't know.
It's true.
And that's where it's like we have all these, we have a very flood. I think we have an overloaded outfield.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
I think that there's a piece that is not just going to make the cut. We already saw they just kind of dump Florial. They're like, all right, see you. And everyone is so high on Jones. And for just this year, right, we know we're not going to see Jones in 2024. I don't even think it's a September call-up. I really don't. I think the September call-ups are going to be pitching. Maybe we get a Pereira. But I think they're going to protect Jones until next spring. I don't think we're going to see him this year at all. It's, what do you do with your outfield?
This is a great point.
So say there's a trade offer, like for Bieber, and they want either Jones or Dominguez. How do you decide? To me, I would say Jones. Now, and I already look. This is not to counter my point, but to emphasize that we don't have a really how do we value what we've already seen? Because prospects are prospects.
This is true.
They're still unknown.
Very true.
Jones could hit a wall and completely, and knock wood, right? Jones has he doesn't regress, but we've seen it before. Let's go through some of the names: Greg Bird, Luis Severino, Gary Sanchez,
Domingo
Germán, Betances. These weren't guys that we all coveted. They never made the cut.
So here's my thing.
So if we're able to get the right player for a guy, why are we so afraid to pull the trigger because of what they can be? Whereas you have a guy like Domingo. Oh, good one, Jonathan Refsnyder. That's one of the reasons we didn't re-sign Cano, because we have Refsnyder in the pipeline. Right? I mean, how do you put value on a prospect that's never played a major league game, as opposed to a player because he's on the IL, i.e. Dominguez, he's being kind of thrown to the side. Because everybody's so high on Jones, we're not even acknowledging what Dominguez came up and did before he got hurt. Like, he's the forgotten one already.
Yeah.
We're so in tune with this shiny toy that we're not paying attention to what's in front of us.
Yeah, but with these group of prospects that the Yankees are talking about and the fans keep talking about, this is a better group than the guys you just talked about. And the Yankees haven't had a deep group of prospects for a long time. You know, they just didn't pan out. Severino could have panned out, but unfortunately, injuries have plagued him.
Yeah, it wasn't his stuff; it was the injuries.
It was definitely the injuries.
Same thing with Greg Bird. Yeah,
and then with Betances, it was the same thing. He couldn't stay healthy to save his life. So with these confident, yeah, no doubt, Joe. But no, I have it for Dominguez. I'm excited for him to be coming back. I just don't want the Yankees to rush him back. There's a difference.
No, you can't.
You can't rush the guy back. So I'm excited for him to come back. But and as far as Spencer Jones goes, I mean, you know, I think he's, you know, they talk very highly of him. So, you know, with Jones and Dominguez, I know there's been a debate of who is better. To me, it's hard to say. It's too early for me to call because it's like we haven't seen these guys play in a full season. You got to give them 1 or 2 full seasons to really see who they are as a player. And I just don't think we have seen that yet.
Oh, I have. No. I think. Look, you had Dominguez come up and he debuted against the Astros, and he owned that pitching staff.
Oh, completely. He took Verlander deep on the first pitch he saw.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I want to put out there is if they're going to be if you're looking at guys that are blocked, okay, you've got Herrera. He's probably
Pereira's got to be gone.
So guys like that, we've seen them. We know they have the talent, but they're not going to get the playing time. So if the White Sox are really still in la-la land, which it seems like they are, when they're never going to come back down to earth, the most I will be willing to give up for top prospect-wise for Dylan Cease would be a Pereira, and that's about as far as I go. Anything else, kick rocks.
Agreed. Yeah, and because Cease to me is equal to Pereira. So, you know, for the Sox to ask for Spencer Jones or Chase Hampton, I don't think so.
Kick rocks.
Sorry. Kick rocks, exactly. That's what I always say. They could go kick rocks.
No, look, and I'm not trying to come off as a flip flopper. I'm just trying to, with Jones and Dominguez, I really. No, it's not neat. No.
Tats, we got a problem.
Wait, my cousin Nick, my cousin Nick and I, we can put him back. I'll tell you that. But no, I'm not trying to flip flop on Jones. I'm really just trying to. If we're not going to look at both sides of the coin, you can't see its true value. You know what I mean? And I think that the Yankees and the fans in general, not everybody. I think the majority of the fans in the chat are on the Jones Express. You know, they want this to work so badly they're willing to do anything to have Jones pan out.
Yeah.
But where does that? How do you align your outfield? So that means that Dominguez has to go if you want Jones so bad. Meanwhile, last offseason we kept saying Dominguez is the future. Dominguez is the future. You got to get Dominguez. And now it's all about Jones. We got to stop doing this every fucking offseason. It's actually getting so drained. I can't take it no more. I mean,
I was going to ask you,
what's the breaking point? So now Dominguez is he's the odd man out because because he's got the Tommy John. He's not a pitcher. He'll recover.
I don't think he's the odd man out. I wouldn't go as far as saying that because remember we have Verdugo for 1 year. And then he's gone.
What do you do with Soto then? You just let Soto walk because Dominguez and Jones?
No,
I was gonna propose this, like assuming the Yankees sign Soto back, right? Which I know they're gonna do. They're gonna do everything they can to sign him back. They didn't just trade him just to trade for him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What if in the outfield you have Soto, Dominguez, and Judge, and then Jones could play first base?
Yeah. Rob said
No,
that.
I'm not opposed
Yeah.
to Jones playing first base.
Right.
I
Exactly. See,
Yeah,
Rob is
Rob's
following.
right
There
on
you
it.
go. Bam. My man.
And actually,
see Rob's tonight Candyman.
If you remember, I did write an article which I sent you guys in the group chat about Jones playing first.
Yeah.
And potentially being our version of Cody Bellinger. Just the healthier version, hopefully. But regardless of that, Tats is right. We have to look at both sides of the coin in order to get the most value out of it. So, with that being said, how do you manage this blockage? I mean, it's not a bad problem to have an excess of a position or, a spot on the field. It's not a bad problem, but it's a problem because now you got to figure out how to kind of finesse your way through it. So I guess, how do you look at both sides of the coin to get that value with this problem that we have?
The only way to make it all work where you keep Jones is not picking up Rizzo's option at the season's end.
And I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either.
No.
Yeah.
I think I love Rizzo. Don't get me wrong.
I've been,
Rizzo, but I don't think he's coming back next year.
Can I throw something back at you? Right. Let's think about next year's free agency first baseman. Wouldn't it be? And I'm only bringing this up because my cousin's in the chat, and his head's gonna explode as soon as I say it, which is why I'm going to say it.
I know where I'm going with it.
What if we let Rizzo walk? Right? They did, which I really believe is realistic. Alonso is going to be a free agent. Could you imagine Pete Alonso at first base?
I knew you were going.
Could you imagine
there.
that? Could you imagine that bat in our lineup?
Oh, sorry, Nick. Sorry, Nick. Your cousin already said it, Nick.
I knew you were going there.
Oh, Nick's gonna whip your ass now.
Oh, Nick's not happy with you.
Oh, he's gonna
Yeah,
come. He's driving
lefty first base power bat. Come on, that's got Yankees written all over it.
He's gonna drive over to your house now, Tats.
He's got a long drive. He's all the way in California.
Oh, well, he'll fly over there. It'll be worth it for him.
I had to bring it up. I really did because you know what? As much as I'm breaking my cousin's balls a little bit, it actually does make sense.
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, though, I mean, that's interesting. I like Pete Alonso, but honestly, I don't know that the Yankees.
I don't see him.
I don't see the Yankees going after him.
No,
I can tell you.
I didn't say it's real. I just think it makes sense, but it's not something that would happen.
There's three teams I could see him going.
Cohen would never allow it. I'll put it that way.
There's three teams I could see him going to. And they're not big market teams. They're like in the middle. I could see him going to the Cubs because Hoskins is only on that 1-year deal. He's got the option for the second. So the Cubs are one, especially if they're trying to stick it to the Mets because those two teams hate each other. I could see Minnesota making a run at him. I don't think they'll get him, but it's a very big possibility. And I could see, even if you really wanted to go off the wall, and off the rails, which we've already done already, I could see Seattle going after him.
I see Minnesota. I think it's going to be Minnesota or the one. I don't think the Mets are going to let him go.
That's right, Rob. I'm sorry. Hoskins is in Milwaukee, so the Cubs could use a first baseman.
Yeah. What about Detroit?
That's interesting.
I mean, since we're talking about small market teams,
yeah,
but they need some players.
I have a dark horse for you.
For
Alonso.
Let's hear it.
The Royals.
Yeah.
Look at what the Royals have done this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Yeah, but how many?
brought in.
When have the Orioles ever spent back-to-back seasons like that? I don't see it.
I don't see the Orioles doing it.
No, not the Orioles. The Royals.
Oh, the Royals?
The Royals don't. They're not. Look, once a decade they open up the checkbook, and and that's about it.
I'm telling you.
Because what if they came off a World Series win and closed the book? It's like, all right, we're not spending.
I would not put it past Kansas City though. I really
That's
would.
just had to bring up the World Series.
God, you saw that, you caught that, right?
But
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
I couldn't either.
Because that ownership has really started to put money back into the team, and I would not sleep on them. I wouldn't do it.
I agree.
Yeah, Bellinger's another tricky one. See, he's going. I don't look. Bellinger doesn't fit. It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't contribute to this team. I just don't see the fit for him.
He doesn't. Because if you
the only way I would have really gone hard on Bellinger if Rizzo was really having severe setbacks going into spring training. Then I would have signed Bellinger to first base and had the two of them platoon.
No. Here's my
That's
thing.
the only window. And I don't think that's
You're not getting Bellinger unless you shed payroll. That's number one. Number two.
I don't think it's a payroll issue.
No, but I'm saying to say so they can try to remain under or at that where
I don't think they're worried about that. They're worried about the right move for the right money. I don't think the tax is an issue.
Number two, you do that. Now you take first base away from Spencer Jones. Now you really block Spencer Jones. And I don't think they want to do that either. Because they think very highly of this kid. Especially with how – because if we remember it was his very first year in the minors, he hit like 500 or something. And then last year he hit 16 bombs and stole 43 bases. Not someone I think they want to block.
Yeah, no, the Yankees are so high on.
So.
Yeah, Steven points out that Houston's got Abreu, but Rob counters with, Abreu's a free agent after the season. Maybe Abreu we go after. I don't. Who the fuck knows what we're gonna do? You know how hard it. You know how mentally draining it is to get into Cashman's head of what his chess moves are.
Yeah,
this dude's been playing checkers since the last Yankee World Series, and we're trying to play chess with him. Yeah, it's really chaotic.
Yeah.
Hence why when I do the night shows, I have the alcohol with me.
Here's the other thing. I love Giancarlo Stanton. I hope he does well. I really don't want to see him fail. But if he has another season that he had last year, I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think they're giving the Abreu treatment, the Ellsbury treatment.
Yeah,
I think they start creating ghost injuries.
Yeah, this is a make or break year for him, and I think the him slimming down though, I think it's gonna help him.
Yeah, Rodon too. And I said that Rodon slimmed down as well. If you saw pictures, he slimmed down as well.
Yeah, and I mentioned that in this morning's podcast with Chris and Lynn that slimming down in your 30s it helps. It's very beneficial. So. I was gonna say if you can real quick, LI, what's going on? William Reed, what's going on? But yeah, I saw that comment from you this morning, and as a fitness, very big into fitness and all that. Elaborate of explain to somebody like me who's I'm not a fitness guy. I do 12-ounce lifts, but so explain to us simple folk the importance of how Stanton's adjusting his body to his age. So, I'll use myself as an example. I mean, for the things that I do, right? When I was probably 25 to 30 pounds heavier, right? And I would do fine training, but the problem is it was just I would get sore easily. I wouldn't recover as quick because I had all this weight on me,
Okay.
you know, and I felt and all that weight I had on me, it was I felt really heavy. I felt sluggish. I felt slow. So I was more prone to getting hurt and having all these, I don't want to say injuries, but I couldn't recover quick enough so I could get back onto the mats. Let's put it that way. Whereas now, I could go like 4 or 5 days straight with no problems. I couldn't have that before. I didn't have that before. So I think with my body feels a lot better. And so I think with Stanton slimming down, he doesn't have all that weight. With him not having all that weight on him, especially at his age as an athlete, I think it's going to benefit him, and I think he'll see less injuries. I'm not saying he won't get hurt. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt, but he won't get as hurt as often. Previous years he was a little bit heavier with the weight thing, so I think now with him slimming down, I don't think that'll be the case. And that was the same thing with Judge. Judge slimmed down too.
Yeah.
Judge was a little bit heavier, and then there was that one year, I forget when it was, but he came down in weight, and his injuries weren't as frequent. So I'm thinking this should work out the same way with Stanton. As long as he keeps training and keeping his diet right too. So because diet plays a role in that as well.
Well, that's why you said he needs less weight room, more DDP yoga.
Yeah.
You made that statement, at the end of the season last year or the beginning of the offseason. But I remember you saying he needs DDP so badly. But
because a lot of people who jumped on that whole DDP yoga or just yoga in general always complain about having problems in their quads, their knees. They couldn't, they can't walk even, a foot, if they tried. But then they do, whether it's DDP yoga or just yoga, their flexibility and their health, like just overall improvement right away.
Yeah. No. We went to DDP because of the athlete. It's athlete to athlete type of program.
Yeah. Yeah. So that DDP yoga, I mean, it's definitely helped out just like regular folks too. So it has, and like William said, it has saved lives, and it has especially from a health perspective. So, I wasn't even joking about that when I mentioned that about Giancarlo.
I think his days with the Yankees are very numbered. He has to have a very strong year this year, or I think he's done.
Yeah, no, I think that I could see by the All-Star breaks that getting the Ellsbury treatment, but they just start creating injuries for him just to keep him out of the way, and they'll let the insurance take care of it. But I think there's still one more big miss and one more big hit that we really need to dive into, and to make sure that we end on a high note. Let's go after the big miss first. That's Yamamoto. How has missing out on Yamamoto altered the remainder of the Yankees offseason going into 2024? It's a player that we were all going, this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy, to where it's now, maybe we dodged a bullet. Because I like that, Joan. Yamamoto.
Yamahu. Yamahu.
Joan, you know what? That was the comment of the night. But love it. But no, I think that where it's not that much of a miss, right? No, well, it is a miss because he's not on the roster. I'm not, just hear me out. What it did, what it meant, what it said to us as a fan was luxury tax got the middle finger.
Yep.
Baseball got the middle finger because everybody was saying how the Yankees have lost their edge when it comes to the free agent market.
Which they clearly didn't, because they clearly proved that with the offer they made them.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. I mean, they put a really good offer.
Really, very strong offer.
For somebody who's never thrown a pitch. And I'm not saying that, and I don't want to come off bitter because we didn't get him, but I just want to the thing I keep going back to, the Yankees, look, they did it. They were willing to trade for a player on a rental in Soto with the intentions and the expectations they were going to have to give him a huge contract on top of having Judge, right? And that's on the hitting end. On the pitching end, they were willing to give Yamamoto an insane contract along with the contract they already gave out to Cole. They were not worried about their budget. They just wanted the talent. The fact that we missed on him sucks, but it gave us an opportunity to say, you know what? That 82 and 80 season and not making the playoffs woke our organization up where they were not afraid to be aggressive. And I think that's why that miss becomes a win. Do you guys agree?
Before I give my take, Sunil's comment, someone has to tell LAD ownership to stop it with the wimpy takes from Popeye the Sailor Man. Tuesday for a hamburger day.
All right. I like that one.
Sorry, I went off the rails there. No, wait, there are no rails.
There's no.
So, do I think it hurts us? No, I really don't.
Well, it did hurt our rotation.
At the end of the day, think we dodged a bullet. And I've said this on so many different occasions. Tats, you've heard me say it. NFE, you've heard me say it. And I'm going to say it again. The Dodgers still have holes to fill, which they have not filled. Ohtani is not playing the field this year. He's not pitching this year.
Yeah.
Betts is playing second this year. Glasnow's arm is made of glass, literally. All right? James Paxton, who they just signed, may void his deal because of a hidden injury that they found. So they're getting all these guys.
Wow.
Yeah. That was
Walker Buehler.
Thing. Walker Buehler. All right? They have spent over $1 billion. $1 billion this offseason. And they still have not filled all the holes that they need. They still have bullpen issues. Kershaw's another one.
Mm-hmm.
They still have bullpen issues. Yamamoto's unproven. Ohtani's coming off a second Tommy John. Where's your corner outfield? Because the deal that you made with Tampa to get Margot and Glasnow, they're putting Margot in center supposedly. They're going to be having him play out there. So you still got 2 corner outfield spots you got to pick up. You still got back into the bullpen issues you got. Because Joe Kelly, you don't have a bridge to. And Joe Kelly, it's still a streaky. Plus, he's hurt some of the time, too. So I don't think this hurts us at all. In fact, I think we've had a very strong offseason. And as a Yankees fan, I'm very happy about it. I'm not mad that we missed out on Yamamoto. Because, look, they ended up pivoting. We got Stroman, which is a starter, which we needed. So that was good. We got him on a very team-friendly deal.
But let's also point out real quick, Michael Caputo, Yankee YouTube's favorite Dodgers fan, even points out that they don't have a closer.
Yeah. They don't.
No, I just messing with you, Caputo. I had no choice.
Oh, God.
But no, it's
did you see Sunil's?
We'll be merging shows. We'll be better pictures.
Imagine having all 6 of us on a freaking
Jesus
live
Christ.
stream.
Jesus Christ.
I'd have to hold I'm like, all right, guys, chill out.
But
I'd have to,
where I'm going with
keep
this
it together.
is,
Yep.
the Yankees signed Stroman to a very team-friendly deal. We have to give the Yankees that. That was a very team-friendly deal that they gave Stroman. So the Yankees have not had a bad offseason. They've had a very successful offseason, in my opinion. All right. I think that Yamamoto signing with the Dodgers doesn't hurt us at all. I think the Yankees have found ways to rebound from it and get the pieces. I mean, there's still a couple pieces that they need. Whether they get it now or at the trade deadline is yet to be seen. But we have done a nice job of pivoting and rebounding to getting the pieces that we need to give us that depth.
And, I'll say this. This is an excellent point from Michael.
Yes, it is.
And thank you, Michael, for this amazing, reasonable comment. But, and if you don't get the jokes, Caputo and I have a good back and forth going. We have a very under the line understanding of each other's frustrations. But he puts out, if you want to get real, Ohtani gets injured again and the Dodger season's over. Absolutely. You're watching the Grammys, dude?
Are you serious, Sunil? Are you jamming out to Taylor Swift? Are you?
But then William Reed puts up this. You know what, Sunil? I'll talk to you tomorrow night. We'll break down the Grammys after dark.
Oh, geez.
But
oh God,
I can't give two shits about the Grammys, and I love music.
Jonathan's gonna go to sleep if that happens.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, as soon as we get off the Yankees, Jonathan's like, all right, bedtime. William puts his comment up. Where'd he go? All right. Who would the Dodgers get for, watch the Dodgers get Devin Williams. The only way the Dodgers would get Devin Williams if they defer their first round picks of the draft for 15 years.
Yep.
They don't want to. I don't think they have the prospects to do it.
They don't. They gave up Michael Busch, who the Brewers probably would have wanted for Devin Williams.
Sunil's watching the grab block.
But
you know what the worst part about this is, Nick? He's my co-host tomorrow night on the After Dark show, and he ain't even tuned into what we're doing.
But your cousin Nick brings up a good point. The Dodgers are the team to beat if they stay healthy. If they don't stay healthy, they don't have depth. He's absolutely right about that.
No, I don't think they're the team to beat.
No, I'm saying in the sense of if they don't stay healthy, they don't have the depth. That's what I'm agreeing with him on. Is they don't have enough depth to carry them.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out to your cousin Nick's point of if the Dodgers stay healthy, the Dodgers are the team to beat if they stay healthy. Now, I mean, is he talking like regular season or just overall, like postseason?
Now, if you're talking regular season, then yeah. But if you're talking postseason, they are very vulnerable.
Well, this is the team I was going to bring up. I don't think the Dodgers are not the team. It's the Braves.
I agree with that.
I think the Braves. I'll even say the Phillies.
Yep.
I still think it's the Braves.
No. I'm saying the Phillies better than the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the NL team that actually made it to the World Series, with Arizona.
Arizona took them out in what?
It's their NL pennant to lose. They're the reigning winners in the NL.
They're the defending champs of the NL. It's their pennant to lose.
Same thing with the Rangers. It's their year to lose in the AL. Until somebody knocks them off.
Sunil, you would know.
He actually felt he had to explain that.
Sunil's probably listening to Taylor Swift right now.
Oh, God.
He's probably jamming out.
He's going. The haters gonna hate.
Yeah, he's doing his Zumba to Taylor Swift.
After every chat, he listens to "Shake It Off" to feel better about himself.
Oh my God! No.
Oh. Oh my God! All right, let's get
But yeah, but Caputo,
what the hell are we talking about anyway?
I have no idea.
it's Sunil's fault. That's all I'm going to say. I blame him. But Caputo brought up Sunil's playing with the crack pipe. Oh God. But I was gonna say Michael Caputo brings up a good point here. He says I think the Dodgers are better than the Phillies, but you could make a case that the Orioles are even better than the Dodgers now. Possibly. Yeah,
you
I would agree. I could.
That's actually a very you could make a very strong case for the Orioles. They have Burns.
Yeah.
They've got that nice young nucleus and Grayson, Gunnar, Adley. I mean, you've got a bunch of guys. Ryan Mountcastle. You've got it's a very good point.
Well, let's call it as it is, right? Because as much we're all having a great time. We appreciate everybody that's hanging out. If you haven't hit the like button, hit it now. But because if you're not going to hit it now, you're not going to hit it. But look, let's be realistic. The Orioles are the team of the AL. They are. They are. I think that they're the new upcoming version of the Astros. And I think we talked. That came up on the show this morning with the Upper Deck. And the way that the Orioles have built their team, they are set to take baseball by storm. No, I'm actually in the middle of making a point to agree with you, Caputo. Believe it, you better go play that freaking lotto. All right. Yeah. And if I agree with you one more time, you got to clean your room. But otherwise, I'm calling Uncle Hector.
Man.
The Orioles, they're the East right now. They won the East by 19 games over us.
Yep.
So as much as we're feeling optimistic about this team, and I'm not trying to say that I'm not optimistic, but the real fan in me is like, well, that's that hurdle we have to get over.
Yeah.
Like we finished fourth, so we got 3 other teams to hop over before the postseason, before we can really push our chest out.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the additions that the Yankees made, the moves that they made, I mean, I still was saying like the Orioles are the one team that we have to worry about. It's not the Red Sox. It's not the Rays. I don't think it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
it's the Orioles. Even if they didn't get Corbin Burns, even if they didn't trade for Corbin Burns, I'm like, that's the team we need to beat. The Orioles, even without Corbin Burns, like I think they probably would have done well. Their starting rotation would have been question marks, but like they have a deep talent of players, man. So, Rock the Fat Sox. Okay.
I thought actually when I looked at it real quick, I thought he put Rock the Casbah, and I was like, wrong decade.
I can see that. Yeah, you're going way back. Still living under a rock or something. I don't know. And Brad, but the Orioles are the one team that I'm worried about. And even Boone said he was asked about the whole Corbin Burns trade, and he said, he was worried. I know fans were busting his balls, but what did you want him to say? Oh no, we're not worried about the Orioles. Like, no, he spoke the truth. So Caputo, I don't know about the Astros, but the Rangers and the Rangers and the Orioles, I agree.
I agree with Caputo on that one. I really do. Until we could beat Houston, they're still our daddy right now. They own us. You know how we're always look. I was thinking about this as the season started to wind down last year. Okay, we're always ranking on the only reason that the Twins did as well as they did because we weren't in the postseason. Look, it's the same for the Astros, right? We're the Twins to the Astros, like the Twins are to us. They just keep the shit. It's as long as we play their mindset. If we're playing the Yankees, we're fine. Because until they can beat us, they can't. That is the mentality in the Astros, and they have every right to feel that way.
Yep,
they really do. I mean, look, we're all Yankee fans, but we're all fans of the game, and we understand the game as much as anybody from any franchise. So we have to be real with ourselves. The Yankees are not back until they're back. They're on the right track, but there's still a lot of work to do. The first move they make, and this is the player that we're going to close the show out with, the player that gets us back on track, one is the health. Absolutely, John.
Yeah, that's number one.
Juan Soto in this lineup to protect Judge.
Yes.
That's the offense. If those two can click the way that we need them to,
it's over.
The pressure that's going to come off our pitchers to be perfect is just going to – I can't even put it to words. Soto was the move, one of the best trades the Yankees have made, I would say, in 10 years.
Yep. And here's the other key. Rodon staying healthy. We need Rodon to stay healthy. Because if he can stay healthy, that takes more pressure off of Stroman to have to fill not only the spot that he's in, but Rodon's spot as well. And that takes off more pressure. That takes more pressure off of Cole. We need Rodon to stay healthy. We need our 1, 2, and 3 guys to be as dominant as they can be. No, I do not see Nestor as a starter.
Yeah, I was going to answer this question. As of right now, he's a starter, but that could change. So I see him more as a bullpen guy, honestly. And I could see Will Warren coming in and taking over Nestor's spot. That's a real possibility. We'll see how he does first, but a lot of people are betting big on him, and Dane Huber, who follows all Yankees prospects, is saying that Will Warren is the guy.
Hey, listen, we interact with Dane a lot. We rely on him a lot for information and the inside scoop.
He knows his stuff.
I can say for a fact, between the three of us, we are constantly in contact with Dane, about this guy and that guy. And we're always feeding information about it, back and forth to each other. But what?
Oh, we're just pointing at ourselves, like saying that we get in contact with Dane and we want to get his opinions on.
Well, that's what I was saying. The three of us, yeah. So we might throw Dane's name out a lot, and there's a reason for that. Mm-hmm. It's not that Dane said. Well, there are times we don't agree with Dane, but we do respect his point of view on it.
Yeah,
but Dane is a very well informed person to go to about prospects.
All right, so if you had let's have a little fun in the last 5 minutes or so. Right. If you had to put a Mount Rushmore, right, 4 players we traded for that will be on that Mount Rushmore, and drop yours in the chat. 4 players we trade for, Mount Rushmore, on the spot. What do you got?
Could it be traded or signed?
Traded.
Okay.
Traded. Okay. I mean, I would put Ruth and Soto for sure.
Yep. Facts.
Immediately, Ruth and Soto.
Not even a question.
Yeah.
Not even a question. Did we sign Goose Gossage or did we trade for him?
No, trade.
We traded him, or we traded for him?
I believe it was a trade.
Let me look that up.
My memory, actually, you know what? Look it up. Don't go by my memory. I don't remember yesterday.
Tass wasn't even alive back then.
Look, I've been around since the game was invented. It's a lot of baseball memories to try to keep packed in at all times.
Yeah, I know these guys keep putting you at like 577. To me, you're like 177.
They did sign him? Okay,
yeah.
So that's not Goose.
Damn.
Okay, so not Goose.
I was going to put him in there.
I mean, you could make a case.
I mean, obviously, we all agree it's Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth and Juan Soto
absolutely
number 1 and 2.
We could say A-Rod.
A-Rod.
Yeah. despite how we feel about him now,
No,
at the time,
he won us a title.
he did get us a title. But yeah. He did get us a title.
And I'm not an A-Rod fan, so
me neither.
But I got to call it like it is. He's in the trademark. You know,
I got one.
Yeah, A-Rod.
Clemens.
Clemens could be one. Yeah,
I have one.
But
That would be more Yankee-esque.
Okay.
Why are
Paul
we talking
O'Neill.
about Tino?
Oh, is Paul O'Neill a trade?
Yes, he was.
So see, I would have Ruth, A-Rod, Paul O'Neill, and Soto. I'm making the outline, but I got to see him play first yet.
But why are we talking about Tino? He won us a title in 96.
98, 99, 2000.
Yes, he did.
Because Soto's a generational talent. Roger Maris, Nikki brings up.
Yeah. Caputo says Randy Johnson. Look, Randy Johnson
as a Mount Rushmore. I don't know.
I respectfully disagree.
Yeah.
I like Randy Johnson. I do like Randy Johnson, Caputo, but I wouldn't put him on the Mount Rushmore.
No. I wanted him. You know, I think we should have gotten him the first time we had the chance. But
yeah,
it is what it is. You know.
Yeah. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
No, I'm not going 10 deep. Who's talking about 10 deep?
Sunil.
We're just throwing that idea.
Sunil.
Yeah. Sunil is a big mountain. But no, actually, yeah. I guess you would have to put it would until we really see what Soto was going to do, and I expect great things from him. I guess for in the now, Red Ruffing. Ooh, Jonathan's going deep.
Ooh, it's going way.
I think you'd have to say Ruth.
Mm-hmm. Soto.
Maris. A-Rod.
Ooh, hold on. Caputo brought up David Justice.
That's interesting.
Dude, that's a good one, Caputo. That's a good one. David Justice helped the Yankees out a lot. He was a big factor for the Yankees in 2000.
I like it.
I like that one.
And
that's a good one, Caputo.
Until Soto proves me otherwise, my fourth spot is for O'Neill.
Yeah. So we're going. So if we're talking four, we're talking Ruth, Soto, O'Neill.
No, you could have a different four. I'm going to say my four.
Yeah, well, I'm including Soto and Ruth.
Soto and Ruth are for me.
Yeah,
I got to see. I want to see. No, I want to see Soto.
A-Rod is also with me.
And I'm not putting Soto down. I just want to see him play in the uniform before I put him on Mount Rushmore. I'd say I'm just trying to be. Look, you have to give respect to the trades before he hasn't played yet. If we got him in September and he had like a September like Sanchez with the bat, absolutely he's in my Mount Rushmore. But he hasn't done anything for us yet.
Yeah, Caputo.
So I would have to say
Justice.
No, I'm not. No, this isn't. You know, it didn't like that trade didn't matter. But I'm talking about like really altering the Yankees' history. Yeah. I would have to say it was Ruth, Maris, O'Neill, and A-Rod.
I'm gonna go Ruth. I'm gonna go Soto, just because of the type of player he is.
Yes,
and I'm gonna say O'Neill's the other one, and then I'll say Tino for my last one.
Yeah, Tino's a fair one.
Because remember, we traded for him in '95 after that season because Mattingly was retiring.
Yeah, didn't they trade Jay Buhner over there to the Mariners?
Yeah,
Tino.
I think that's what they did trade him for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chambliss was another one.
Chambliss, that's a good one.
Into the mix.
Yeah.
Nettles. There's been a few because you have to think trades early in the Yankees' history was so rare. Players weren't traded like they are now.
Mount Rushmore signing or trade? Who's your top four?
For what?
Mount Rushmore signs or trades?
Oh, we're combining the both of them now.
Yep.
I still say Ruth Maris, Reggie, and Clemens.
Interesting. I would do Ruth Soto, CC,
CC's a good one.
Yeah.
Cole. Those would be my four.
You could even
I know
put
Cole
Messina,
hasn't-
you could even throw Messina in that.
Yep. And I know Cole hasn't. I know Cole hasn't won a championship with us, but he's been huge for us. Without him,
Yeah, no, it's Mazda threw a curveball into it. He took the train off the rails and off the cliff, and he wanted to make it where our Mount Rushmore of free agents and trades. So he just completely
derailed and shot the shit out the cannon.
he shattered the express train today. Yeah, we got Jeff Nelson in the Tino trade, Jonathan.
Okay, yeah. So, man, if we're talking free agent and
that's tough.
Trades, yeah, that's a tough one, man. But I almost have to put Cole and CC in there, man. Yeah, Caputo, I agree with you, man. Mark Teixeira after 09. Unfortunately, man,
I love Teixeira.
It sucks.
I
was a big Teixeira fan too. Yeah.
He's still one of my favorite first basemen.
Absolutely.
Oh, agreed.
His defensive glove. Oh my God.
He was an immediate upgrade over Giambi.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. He was one of the best first basemen I've seen since Mattingly.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you could put Tino in there. It's that's the hard part when you're like, I mean, for me growing up, first base, Mattingly, boom, instinct. And my later years, it was Teixeira. As far as, first base, what you textbook, what you want. It was Teixeira. And Caputo agrees. He says Tino then Teixeira with a two best first basemen. Maybe that you saw. But if you if you don't have Mattingly as your two best, I really Caputo, you gotta look at the tape. Mattingly was the best player in baseball for 5 years. Offensive and defensively. What do you think?
Man, I mean, I still include Ruth. So probably Ruth, Maris, O'Neill. That fourth one is the tough one for me, man. It's like I could go CC, I could go.
All right, fair enough, Mike. Yeah. I think you know what? I think you'd have to put Cole on there.
Yeah, you got to put Cole on there.
I might have to put Cole over Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens, he won 2 champs or 2 World Series with the Yankees. I mean,
but Jonathan Gehrig was a homegrown. We didn't trade or sign. He wasn't a free agent or saw a trade. Oh, as far as first baseman, got you, guy. All right, I got you now.
Yeah.
So that's fair. Gehrig, yes.
Yeah, Gehrig was something else.
But Gehrig was one great on a team of greats. Mattingly wasn't. Mattingly was a great. He was an exceptional on a team of greats. Because they didn't have that. They didn't have a crappy roster. They just couldn't. They never had the pitching for that team in the 80s. The pitching always fell apart. One player that never gets brought up when it comes to pitching. Can we give a little love to Abbott for a couple minutes?
Oh man, yeah.
Could you
Yeah, I
imagine
don't
if
think
he tried getting into the game today? Nobody would give him a chance. I really
probably
believe
not.
that.
Yeah, Caputo is saying he wasn't crazy about Giambi.
No, I wasn't
Yeah,
either.
I wasn't the craziest about him either. I liked him like the first couple of years. I was excited when the Yankees signed him, but then after about a few years there, Mike, yeah, I was like, I don't think he belongs here, man. Like,
You never fit.
he
You're
never
right.
fit.
You never
Yeah,
fit.
yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, Jim Abbott, perfect game. One-handed. Never bitched, never asked for anything. He just wanted the opportunity. I think Abbott needs to be on fans' minds more than they're not. I think he's been. I think when it comes to Yankee history, I really think that he's been done an injustice.
With Abbott,
Abbott.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it's too bad with him.
Yep. But
And Sunil brings up El Duque. I wouldn't put him in Mount Rushmore personally.
not an amount. No.
I like Catfish Hunter.
Yep. Mazda, when you dropped down, I don't know if you caught it. We were talking about how Jim Abbott never gets some recognition from fans for what he did.
I did not catch that. No.
So, what's your thoughts on Jim Abbott before we sign out?
Jim Abbott I thought was a very special pitcher, being that he only had one arm to pitch with.
Yep.
But I have nothing against him. I think that it was a really fun time for to see that, because that was something unusual. So I have nothing bad about him to say.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we were just because we're going through all these different players, and I'm like, I said it slips my mind, and I remember, once I learned that he only had the one hand to pitch with, and the way that he moved his glove,
it was so.
I was like, holy shit. So I while we were reminiscing and going through memory lane, I felt it was due to kind of bring his name to the discussion.
Absolutely.
So, but that is going to be the last stop on this train. So if you've enjoyed the show and you've enjoyed the Pitch Up Express, Tim Raines was. There's not a lot of great trades that we've made. You can even bring up David Cohn, Strawberry, Gooden. I mean, there's so much to get into. You can spend maybe we'll the next one will just be a stroll down memory lane before the season starts, and we'll just start throwing names out of the air and see what we want to talk about. But yeah, Henderson, Chili. Yeah, you guys are killing it with the names. There's so many. Don't forget, you got a 107-year history to go through. But so there's a lot of names we can throw out there. But this is going to be the final stop on this train. If you haven't already, hit the sub button on the Strike Zone, hit the sub button on the 4-Train Express, and of course on the Pinstripe Chronicles. And as we always say, wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.